Welcome back to the case study of Vanitas. Anime review episode number 9. This is reviewing the 9th episode of the series, Chasseur, Those Who Hunt Crimson. Now, this episode does kind of pick up where last week's episode left off. Now, what chapters is adapted? I did a little research on this, don't worry about that. I actually did look it up. This covers pages 3 through 46 of Chapter 15, 2 to 51 of Chapter 16, and the first 8 pages of Chapter 17. Yeah, I did notice, though, that the opening pages of the first 2 chapters of the episode were skipped over. I didn't see them. The stuff for that portion in the episode. They're probably saving that for next week's episode. Okay, we pick up where we left off last week. We have Vanitas in a cell. We have, I think his name's Ronald. I think his name is the one who's part of the Connoisseurs. Ronald. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he pretty much decides to, basically have he's in that little trance he's in where you just can't clearly see. He mentions that, it mentions Vanitas' name. And apparently gets Reynolds riled up to give him a hug. It's like, oh, dear Vanitas, good to see you. Because they think he's been brainwashed or whatever. And he's like, no, I'm concerned with vampires. I'm doing this on my own free will, so I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And then, of course, then he starts fighting Noe when he basically starts to attack him. He takes off the little thing on his back. He's got basically a dual-bladed weapon. Always these are cool. He slices up a Noe, then he breaks the thing in half, slices it more, and then of course, Vanitas gets out of his cell. Pulls a candlestick. Yes, one of those handle candlesticks with with 3 candles on it. Apparently this was the key to open up his cell. And of course he basically gets kind of hit with they stop. Of course, he fires the thing out. The way the thing looks like, the way he throws out the blade, it kind of reminds me of Himar from Bleach. Zebimaru, Reggie's weapon, where basically throws it. He has the blade in his hand. He has the handle in his hand, and the blade just stretches. It's a very similar technique to that. Though I would not be surprised, though, if basically that's where the inspiration for this weapon came from. Of course, this thing is also loaded with electric. It's basically loaded with a taser. Well, that's what I think of it as. Yeah, she thinks she was electricity, and of course, Noe's like, what the heck was that? Despite the fact what it is a freaking taser. Though it's the 19th century, they probably call it something else, but yeah, it's a freaking taser. But it shocks him, but doesn't really knock him unconscious. And of course, Vanitas gets a cell. Of course, they run away from him. Of course, he throws him. He also takes to his gloves he's wearing. I'm not sure what his fingers are like because he scratches Reynolds' face, and of course he gets kicked into a freaking pillar. And he survives that, despite like any normal human would die. And of course, Vanitas explains the reason why he's basically so powerful is because of a drug. He's basically on a drug. So basically, he's cheating. And of course, they get away, and of course, they have 2 more of the Connoisseur show. One, of course, happened to be a woman. And of course, they have searching for them. And then, of course, they basically chat for a while. Of course, Yviosi was the previous experiment of a guy by the name of Dr. What is his name? Muru. Yeah. They reveal he's past experiments of his. It's nice, though, that we reveal a little bit about his backstory, but wow, waiting this far into the series to do it. Well, Vanitas was pretty much a mysterious person anyway, so it's not all that surprising we actually have at this point where they're pretty much revealing his backstory a little bit, where he mentioned his parents were killed by a vampire. The Connoisseurs took him in, and at one point he was about to be released, and then he was heading off to Dr. Moreau to be a guinea pig, which then he escaped from at some point. And then, of course, they try to think of, let's knock out the female Connoisseur, take her hostage, and when of course Vanitas mentions that Noe is a blood like a canine blood soaking bat, he pretty much just breaks the wall and he's like, "I've changed my mind. We'll take a hostage. I'll retract what I said. I'll take a hostage." And it's fantastic. It's so hilarious. And of course they chat for a bit, and then of course he's able to nearly pin down Randall by basically also holding his arms too. And basically he explains what the heck is going on. Where basically his name is Noe, he's here investigating someone that they're probably investigating. And Vanitas basically mentions Dr. Moreau is alive. When he mentions that, that's everything starts calming down. And after explaining it, they basically, despite the fact everyone else is basically skeptical what exactly Vanitas said, apparently Ronald basically is like, I agree with him. Let's go search for him. And of course, he does mention the reason why that he actually doesn't know about this place, because this is where he was sent to. So they go. Apparently, he knows exactly where the lab is. And what I love, basically, they show Dr. Moreau, where they don't exactly show his face yet. You see the back of him, and you see him spin around his rolly chair, and you hear him for the first time, and you see his face, and he is in fact if I can find a picture of him. Yeah, I'm just basically trying to find the picture of him, because I know they show a picture of him in this episode. Yeah, basically what he is, well, according to some TV art, and this is pretty accurate, he looks like he's a short guy, a bit chubby, with glasses that one of those, he also has a scarf like he's the Fourth Doctor, wears a glove on one hand. And because he's a scientist, his little thing can basically adjust what he's looking at, which I gotta hand, that's actually a really neat device for a scientist to have, which is perfectly fine. Apparently he's one of those mad scientists, that's what it seems like. And they see him, and he's like, "Oh, welcome back, number 69. And Vanitas is number 69. And the episode ends quite weirdly where he says, "Dr. Monroe!" And that's basically where the episode ends. Pretty good episode. We're progressing this arc very well. I would not be surprised if the skipper from this episode is adapted for next week. Like, based upon a bit where they've adapted so far, because I got the chapter 17, I would probably say, I was thinking that possibly this is the very arc they actually, end the season with. It's possible, to say the least. So, what they're probably going to do for next episode is that this up basically skipped from this one, where they have like the first two pages in 15, the opening page chapter 16, and pretty much the rest of 17, and maybe they'll start 18, and I'll probably wrap this up either because next week's episode 10, so maybe they'll wrap it up by probably by 11. Yeah, my guess is by 11. So, like, the obvious question is exactly like when you watch it, it's like, how far are they going to go with this? That's a really good question. Answer: I don't have any idea. That's the weird thing about it. By the way, this is known as the Catacombs arc. Yeah, it's not that long of an arc per se. No, it's only like 6 chapters, and that's it. And with this episode, they've covered most of this arc already. Yeah, most of it. Yeah, this only started just last episode. Do I think they wrap up next week? I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, not much to say about it. Good episode. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review for My Hero Academia. Okay, thanks for the video. Bye.